Yo, what's up? MMA Tap Hour. Man, we had an awesome UFC 285 card. The card was pretty stacked, and I want to go through it. I want to freestyle through some of the card, and I'm going to start. I'm going to start with Cody Garbrandt. He saved his job. He saved his UFC career, getting the win. But I wasn't impressed. A lot of dancing. He looks like he's still a long ways out from what he used to be. Ben, what are your thoughts on Cody Garbrandt and the performance he put up this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with it. As somebody who was backing him, monetarily, shout
Mm-hmm.
out Yosh, Cody Garbrandt's number one fan as well. But
Yeah.
I liked what I saw. I mean, all that we've said is this guy needs to not go into the brawl. Finally, he showed patience. He stuck to a game plan. He stayed on his bike, once he knew that he had some of
He
those
was up two
rounds
rounds.
won.
Yeah.
Right. That third round, he played very, very conservative, but we even saw his chin get tested, late in that third round. Got hit a couple times. You got to think if that's what's happening throughout the whole fight, he's probably not standing at the end. So,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah, I like to see that, but
To see Cody get to a decision, stick to the game plan, and win, good for him. It was his first win in like 7 fights, I believe.
yeah.
So, he's going to stick around in the UFC for a little while longer. But it's kind of like when Overeem came back, bro. And Overeem came back with this new, fight style, and he wasn't getting hit as much, and he was on his bike. So he's got to figure out what works for him. I'm glad he stuck to a game plan. Yes, it wasn't the best on the eyes, but I like the IQ, high IQ fight type of guy you want to put your money on. Usually doesn't do that, but we got to think, they finally lowered the competition for him also. It was
Yeah,
good to see him fighting somebody that wasn't, top 10 title contender, a guy out of the top 15.
yeah, and I agree. Trevin Jones is not the best. And that's why I am not so high on the performance, because he did go up 2 rounds, but he didn't look great. He didn't look like anything of a shadow of his former self. And if he were to have to fight in the top 10 again, I don't think I could back him. He was favored going to that fight for a reason. And, he went up 2 rounds and he just danced in high IQ, like you said, but that's not the Cody I was hoping to see. I was hoping to see a fully back Cody, and that wasn't the guy that I thought I was going to see at least Saturday night. But good for him to save his career. He really did that.
It's a process getting back to that, Cody. It doesn't just happen from one fight to the next. So this was good, man. He was untouched. He's not concussed. First time he hasn't been concussed after a fight in a minute. So yeah, I was impressed by what Cody Garbrandt did. I'm gonna go on the other side of the fence.
All right. So there was 3 guys, 3 prospects who were fighting this weekend: Dracus du Plessis, Bo Nickel, and Jalen Turner. 2 of those guys passed the test. One didn't. So let's get into the one who didn't. Jalen Turner. He fought Matus Gamrot. Gamrot was able to wrestle and make it ugly. Ben, where are you on Jalen Turner? Did he show you enough that this kid has potential, or are you kind of leaning towards, no, maybe he's not the guy? Because the guy's a freak athletically. 155. He stands like 6'3", 6'4". He looks huge in there. I mean, he has one of the better athletic bodies in lightweight division. So what do you think there? Where are you standing now on Jalen Turner?
I mean, he was a pretty big underdog in that fight. I believe was 50-50 going into the third round. Like whoever won the third was probably going to win the fight. Some people had Jalen Turner winning on their cards. I liked him pre-fight. Going in, ended up switching to Gamrot, thinking this is kind of a fight that he's got to win on a pay-per-view if he is legit. He struggled, finding his distance after the first round. The thing that I liked is he kept throwing those leg kicks. And Jalen Turner, he took him like a champ, bro, because he really didn't show much, effect on those leg kicks. And there wasn't much there to kick. Dude's got long legs. They're not, bulky. Yeah. So I was impressed with Jalen Turner. I don't think that, he lost much height. I think that a lot of people considered Gamrot a real contender. I thought that was a pretty close fight. He didn't get dominated. He didn't get finished. Yes, he was on his back, a little more than he would have liked to be. But overall, I thought that he fought well, and I thought that it was a pretty close fight.
I agree. Let's move over to the next one. Dracus du Plessis. It's not a guy that we backed. We didn't really love the performance against Darren Till. Darren's still out of the UFC. He's sort of semi-retired, told Dana I need 2 years off before I can fight again in the UFC. He ended up beating Derek Brunson. Brunson looked a little gassed towards that second round, and they had to throw in the towel. You know, the corner said that's enough. Brunson didn't wrestle enough in that. Are you a little more sold now on Dricus du Plessis, or are you saying, you know what, two guys back to back that had some quit in them definitely quit? Where are you at on Dricus du Plessis?
I mean, we saw what happened in that first round. I thought was the way the fight was going to go. Derek Brunson was in some very dominant positions.
Yep.
I did not expect Derek Brunson to gas out like that. I mean, talk about going, from 60 to 0, bro, in reverse. That was horrible. Late in the second round, I'm glad his corner threw the towel in. And I ran across a tweet today that said that the towel's only been thrown in twice in the middle of a round, and they've both been during Derek Brunson fights. So I believe that this was his retirement fight. Man, that's a shitty way to go, especially because you don't have that decision. Your corner throws in the towel, but they saved him from being a meme and being a highlight reel because he had nothing left in him. I was feeling good, man, and me and Yosh had a little gentleman's bet on this one. I really liked Derek Brunson going into this fight just because I thought he was going to teach him a vet lesson. And man, if the first round would have gone, if the second and the third round would have gone the way that first round went,
yes,
boy, would it have been a vet lesson because
30-27.
Yeah, Brunson just had 5 minutes in him, man, and he was more gassed than du Plessis. And I know du Plessis likes to say that that's just the way that he breathes with his mouth open, but man, dude, the guy is gassed because Derek Brunson was standing there, leaving his head there, sideways, and he couldn't get him out of there. He should have been knocked out. Very, very wise decision from Derek Brunson's corner, but man, I was not impressed at all, bro. I know in the pre-breakdown we talked about, a plant and watering it, and this is where we were going to cash in. Okay, he got me. Derek Brunson wasn't that guy, but now supposedly Arnold Allen is calling him out. So if du Plessis matches up with Arnold Allen, buddy, we're going to make some money fading du Plessis. He got taken down too easy.
You're still not on the du Plessis train at all.
No, he got taken down way too easy. Any fight against a wrestler, yeah. I think that he's cooked.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just a little bit more sold on him than last, but not all the way sold. If Arnold Allen, a matchup like that happens, I'll be fading du Plessis. But it's got to be matchup from now. So I'm going to look at the styles from here on out with him. All right, let's move on to the rookie making his debut in the UFC. He fought in Contender Series, but this was his official UFC debut, and he did it to open up the card. Bo Nickal pretty much runs through his opponent. Now, there is some controversy because his opponent is saying, I was kicked in the nuts, and that's the reason why I lost. What do you think about that? Is his team right to question that knee to the nuts?
Yeah, I mean, we were watching the fight, and live. I said, "Damn, he just took a nut shot," but he really didn't sell it at all. He didn't say anything. He didn't react to it. Nothing. When guys usually get hit there, and it was a knee, so it was gonna hurt. He didn't react at all. So after the fact fights really don't get overturned. It's hard to get a fight overturned. And then especially when it's a guy like this that has this much hype, they're not about to throw a no contest in there and kill the hype. Sorry, Jamie Pickett was coming out, right?
Yeah, Jamie Pickett.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. But yeah, man, the guy had really long legs. Pickett is a hell of an athlete, but it was just too much there for Bo Nickal to grab. He took him down, and right after taking him down, he ended up subbing him. So I think that Bo Nickal needs to get the Alex Pereira path to the title and not the Sean O'Malley.
So here's the thing. Nickal does not want the fast track to the title. He wants to learn and be slow.
He wants to cash in.
I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy to be slow with it because honestly, if it's Pereira or if it's Adesanya, neither guy's beating Bo Nickal.
Yeah, he probably.
Bo Nickal can wrestle the hell out of both those guys.
Facts.
So why not just? That's his toughest matchup. Toughest matchup would be Whitaker.
Yeah, Robert Whitaker would probably be the toughest matchup. But yeah, this is like he's got to be. I mean, that was his first fight, bro. But we're not gonna give him the Camarada Rosas treatment, are we? Are they gonna be on the same path, Bo Nickal and the 18-year-old Rosas?
Well, that seems what like Bo Nickel wants, but bro, someone needs to get to his corner and say, hey, if you were to fight either champ, wherever whoever wins that upcoming card, you're favored over that guy. Go fight for the belt and change your family's life, bro.
Favored? He's favored over them?
He's favored, bro.
So?
How are they gonna beat him? How's Pereira, who Izzy was able to wrestle? Izzy doesn't have wrestling. Gonna beat Bo Nickel? I just don't know. He's too elite of a wrestler, way too elite.
Yeah, so him wanting the slow track is just maybe milking it, bro.
Yeah.
Get that striking on par, you know what I mean? Another impressive performance. He said he wants to turn right around and get on another card. I think we
He
might
took
see
no
him.
damage. Take it.
I think we might see him international fight week.
That would be great. Was that July 11th?
Yeah, they got to stack up that card.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to what my personal fight of the night was. My favorite fight of that night. Shavkat Rakhmonov and Jeff Neal. We saw Jeff Neal get macheted, choked out. But bro, let's start with Jeff Neal. He was a dog in that fight, and he really brought it, bro. I mean, I was very impressed in his loss.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he took a lot of shots. He kept coming, and I mean, he's we know the heavy hitter that Jeff Neal is, and he found the other dude's chin. Shavkat, there you go. He found his chin often, man. Both guys showed tremendous chins. Jeff Neal did pretty good defending the wrestling, in my opinion. I thought that he did a pretty good job of not being on the mat, for the majority of the fight, which was obviously Shavkat's easiest route to victory. Jeff Neal made it a brawl. Had they gone to the cards, I think Shavkat was going to get a decision anyways. But man, what a vicious way to end the fight. I think Jeff Neal's tank was just, on E at that point. And only 30 seconds left in the fight. I mean, that's a wild finish. That's having that killer instinct. That's, the opposite of what Cody Garbrandt was doing, which is why I guess it left a bad taste in your mouth. Instead of going for, the finish and the kill, Shavkat went for it, man. And he didn't even, I think he had like one hook in, and he arched his body, got a sideways choke. Some brutal
stuff. Use his height to get it.
Yeah, brutal stuff. So, that guy is the real. That guy is the real. That guy will be fighting for a title.
So what I was talking about Shavkat is the difference between him and Khamzat is Khamzat, he speaks English. He's more marketable in that sense. And he's more of a brute. When he got into that war with Burns, they kind of compared this fight to the Khamzat Burns fight. But the difference was Shavkat was a little bit more composed and found his finish.
But Burns will fuck Shavkat up.
I don't agree with that. I think.
No.
I think Shavkat's elite, man. I really believe in this kid. I've been on the Shavkat.
He was getting hit a lot, bro. He was getting hit a lot, bro.
Absolutely.
He was even dazed at one point in that fight.
And he was able to ace in the hole.
He did fight through it. You do want to see that. You do want to see a guy in adversity. Jeff Neal is a legit contender. You know what I mean? Maybe not that championship material, but he's definitely a guy that you got to get through.
Top 6.
Yeah, you got a guy it's a guy you got to get through in that division. He's gonna take you into deep waters. That is what he did. Shavkat to get the finish, very impressive because it could have gone to the cards, and I believe he would have won anyway. But never leave it to the judges. We've seen guys get hold on a decision. So
props, if I'm gonna make
a finish.
I just want to make a prediction here. I think Shavkat will be the welterweight champ at some point. I think we see him. Yeah.
Well, what's after this for him, right? Are we talking about they said like Colby Covington?
Colby, yeah, that was his call out. So I think Colby and then the championship fight if he can get through Colby, which I mean that's going to be a hell of a fight if that happens. I would really like to see that fight.
Yeah, I mean against Colby, I think Colby would win, but Shavkat hits hard. Yeah. He hits hard, and we've seen
17-0, all finishes, man. I mean, it'll be a hell of a fight to see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, let's see him take a fight, right? Because Khamzat was calling him out. Now you got this guy calling him out. He's going to have to fight down.
Colby has agreed to 3 different fights, and they fell through. The guys who were going to fight him all backed out. So that's not really on Colby's fault.
We never heard of him.
I mean, we're not in those meetings. I'm just reporting what Dana said on the.
If you
presser.
believe everything Dana says, Justin, then God help you.
Well, just gonna report it. I'm not gonna believe everything, but I'm just gonna report it at least.
All right.
All right, let's get to the co-main. Valentina Shevchenko, 5 years as a champ, and we saw her face look like, you know what it reminded me of, bro? When you go see those guys work out west, in the fields, and they wear the sunglasses and they have that suntan line on their face.
Yeah.
Valentina had that suntan line across her chin where that arm bar was, or that arm was just locked on. Bro, that was like a bear grip by Alexa Grasso. What did you think about that?
It happened fast. It happened really fast. I mean, what a stupid kick from a champ. A
She's gonna
champ that's
regret that
defended
forever.
so many times decides to throw that spinning crap with maybe 40 seconds left in the round and just a complete whiff. But, bro, instantly the hooks were in.
Oh.
Instantly she was around the neck. I mean, that didn't take much more than 5 seconds to happen, bro. And that's that level, I guess. Like, I guess Alexa Grasso is that level. Was she losing the fight? Yeah, she was losing the fight. And on my scorecard, she won the first round, in my opinion, and then she lost the next two. So going into that fourth round, I had her down 2-1. But man, one little mistake, bro, and even at Valentina's level, you know what I mean? One little mistake like that, and boom, the fight's over. And she couldn't even believe it. I thought that she was the type that was gonna Holly Holm it and just go out on her shield and get choked out. I really did not expect to see her tap. That was a big surprise.
So this is different than Pena Nunes, right? Because it looks like Alexa's a lot closer to Shevchenko than
Definitely closer.
Pena is to Nunes, right?
If they rematch,
So they're gonna
Shevchenko will
rematch.
probably win, but the levels are definitely closer. I mean, I'm not saying that it is Brandon Moreno and Figueiredo. I'm not saying that it's like that where we're gonna need to see three. I don't think so. I think that was just a boneheaded decision, on that spinning kick to throw from what is known to be a pretty high IQ fighter. Yeah. But huge mistake. Huge mistake. I think that we can stop calling her the GOAT. People can stop calling her GOAT. She's lost to Pena. I mean, she's lost to Nunez in the past. She now lost to Grasso. That they were hoping for that third fight against Pena. Seems like this has taken all that allure away. So
you say Nunes sole go to the women's division.
Yeah, and honestly, if Dana, knowing Dana, who knows? He might just give Aaron Blanchfield the title shot and not give it to Shevchenko. They asked him about it right after. Obviously Shevchenko wants a rematch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, she does.
Dana might want to put the two young chicks against each other.
It's marketable, bro. That's a more marketable fight than the rematch, I think.
It's a way more marketable fight. I mean, people. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go.
There's fatigue on Shevchenko because we've seen her for so long.
Big time fatigue, bro.
Yeah, I understand that. Fatigue. I know where you're going with that. I get that. I can agree with that. Well, hey, Mexico, 2.5 champs now, right?
2.5.
Three if you count Yair as full, but I think, interim half champ.
I wanted, Justin, I gotta give you a little bit of slack on there because I wanted for us to go with Grasso here, but I hope that the rematch of the fight that you compared it to.
Well,
I think that you said it was going to be,
and we all said Shevchenko, so I'm not sure where you're coming.
No, you know where I'm coming from. You said it was going to be like Islam.
Documented. I mean, we can.
You said it was going to be
like
happens
in private's different. You know what I mean?
Islam and Volkanovski is how you said it was going to go.
In private, I said that.
Yeah, I hope that this is for Yair. I think that does Yair have a chance? I was comparing it to Yair against Volkanovski. That this is what Grasso and Shevchenko was. Hype, young prospect. Are they for real against a champ that is polished? Valentina didn't look that polished throwing that stupid shit. That's something that you can't cap in the process of you thinking of how the fight's going to go just because you don't see her make mistakes like that, bro. You don't.
All right. Well, let's get to the last takeaway. The main event, what everyone paid to see, Johnny Bones Jones, the GOAT's return. Ben, they used to say John Jones in those last fights in light heavyweight, he wasn't motivated. He wasn't taking it serious. And that's why those fights were so close. And you saw him come into this heavyweight fight. And look how, interested he was into this fight and how dedicated he was, and look how easy he made that. Do you buy into that now? That hey, maybe he was no longer motivated light heavy and nothing moved him, and a motivated John Jones is very dangerous. What do you think about that? Do you buy into that sentiment?
You 100% got to buy into that, and also like when people talk about ring rust, I don't think people when you mention it with certain guys like the elite of the elite, I don't think that they have ring rust, bro, because they're that good. When they talked about Dominic Cruz's ring rust, TJ Dillashaw's ring rust, John Jones's ring rust, some of these guys like that's just not applicable to them. So we should think about it as holy shit, they've had that much time to heal their bodies, rest, game plan for this fight. We should think about it as Andy Reid off of a bye week in the NFL.
I like that.
That's the way that we should think about this stuff, bro, because that was goat behavior that took place, quick, third fastest finish in the heavyweight division. John Jones, as far as how his body looked, Joby was shitting on him. He didn't look to be the fittest. It looked like he was carrying a little bit of a belly in there. But I mean, bro, easy work, mean work. I mean, this looks like a mean John Jones at heavyweight. As soon as he grabbed him, I mean, that's almost like what we expected from Bo Nickel as soon as he was going to grab Pickett, right? As soon as John Jones grabbed him, I mean, it was that was it for he looked like a fish out of water gone. And I mean, even after the fight, when you see John Jones walking away and celebrating, and there's that picture of Gon's face, and he just looks like
he's shocked.
Holy
like,
fuck!
What happened to me?
These lights are all on me, and what the fuck did I just fight? Like, how many of them was there? What just happened? When we saw the fight end, I mean, like you couldn't really tell what happened, so you thought, what did this guy really just take a dive? What the hell happened? Then they show the replay, and you hear Joe Rogan and John Anik and DC talking about it, and he's in there, and he's cranking on that head. He might have popped that head right off of his shoulders if he didn't tap. They were dry. It was early in the fight, so
super dry. Grip was very much.
He had the grip. I mean, it was a fast tap. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe he went right at the Adam's apple was where all the pressure was. I don't know. That was fast, bro. It looked a little sketchy. Then you saw the replay, and 100%
under the chin completely.
Yeah, 100% legit.
So let's break this down, and we'll go with Gon first. What's next for him? Because he's been at the main event scene 2 times now for the belt, and has lost and come short. So he's gonna have to rebuild. Where do you book him next?
I got it.
Cleaned out a lot of division too.
I got it.
This is what I want to hear. This is why I asked the question.
I got it.
Who's next?
Ciryl Gane clearly wants to stand up and fight. We've seen him get taken down his last 2 fights. If the UFC wants to build on this guy, I don't know how much time he has in the UFC, but if they want to build on him, they got to match him up against other stand-up guys. Yes, Ngannou, we didn't expect for him to wrestle him, but we saw what he was doing to Ngannou on the feet. The only matchup for this guy is Pavlovich.
I'm waiting for that's the name I want to hear.
That's
what I want to see.
Somebody's gonna have to go to sleep, on that fight, and we got to see, the brute of Pavlovich against Gane. I don't want to see him against Curtis Blades. I don't want to see him against another wrestler because Curtis Blades will take him down and finish
the outcome.
Yes, I want to see him against a guy like Pavlovich. We've already seen him against Tuivasa, so. Stipe, but Stipe, it looks like he's booked because Dana said that John Jones and that Stipe fight probably happening International Fight Week. July. So, I mean, the only matchup for him.
And how fast do you book it?
Wasn't Pavlovich the backup?
Pavlovich was the backup. Gane didn't take damage. Can you book it in 2 months, 3 months?
It's up to Gane. I mean, that's what it's going to be up to. How fast does he want to get in there? Did this fuck him up that bad to where I
want to say something. He was at the press conference and he said that this felt like his first real loss. He said the loss against Ngannou didn't feel like a loss because it was a close fight, but he got completely smothered here. And he said this feels like a big loss, and he got really emotional about it. I think the dude is maybe a little bit in the head is losing confidence in himself.
Yeah, well, I mean, that'll do it to you quick, Justin. I mean, this
Yeah.
is a fight you build up, and in 30 seconds it's over. I mean, and then as quick as it happened, you can say, "Hey, that wasn't my best night," but damn, bro, listen. That's John Jones went in there like you said, ultra motivated, bro. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He was motivated. He wanted to become that champ. Obviously, doesn't have him simultaneously, but he's now the heavyweight champion, and he is an older champion. He was the oldest number one contender, I thought, uh, coming in. Even though that's kind of weird because Glover should have been a contender, when he got one of his title fights, and
Who
he's
you
old
talking
as
about?
hell.
Gone?
John Jones.
John's 35. Yeah.
So he's been the oldest heavyweight number one contender. I
Yeah, I
believe
would
is
I
what.
would think him or Stipe would probably be the older ones.
Yeah. So I mean,
Stipe's
heavyweight
pushing
is,
40.
but heavyweight's also that weight class to where if you're super talented and super skilled, the age thing. I mean, there's not that many skilled guys in heavyweight. Everybody kind of has that one trick. They either wrestle or they either have that knockout power. So John Jones can run through this division. John Jones can go through Tuivasa. He can go through Stipe. I think that when John Jones fights Stipe Miocic, the line's going to be like John Jones minus 270,
That's the
minus
last time we're
280.
gonna ever see John at 160
That
minus
was
160.
crazy. Minus 165 for John Jones against the guy who, has had maybe 5 fights in the UFC. Wild, bro. Wild. But yeah,
Oh,
I
you're
mean,
starting to book John here. I gotta ask you: do we see over under 2.5 fights for John next?
oh,
It
over.
for his career. We know Stipe is gonna happen, but do we see that he's gonna really have 3 or more fights after that? I
Yeah.
kind of feel like we're gonna see the under. I think we're gonna see Stipe and then maybe one more, and then I think John's gonna call it career.
I think that he gets more. I think that if he beats Stipe in like some dominant fashion and he gets on the mic, you might know a little bit more. But I still think that he can lure Brock Lesnar in there for a fight, bro.
For a payday.
I think that can lure Brock Lesnar in there for a payday. Have John Jones beat the shit out of Brock because that's probably what would happen.
Here's the
Dana would
thing:
help.
I want to see that, Ben, but I don't want to see that au natural. I want both those fools juiced. I want to see two just huge dudes going at it, fighting each other, teed off on steroids. That's what I want to see, man.
Oh my god.
Violence.
Yeah, we're not going to get that, but I do think I'm going 100% over that 2.5.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Think that's
I'm gonna
really low.
go under. I think it's gonna be Stipe, maybe one more. Because I think Curtis Blades could be a problem for John. I think he's the better wrestler, probably. So I would have to maybe, I don't know, Pavlovich maybe for John after
I
that.
don't know if I
Stipe,
don't know if Blades could get him down though.
yeah, it would be good. Last thing I want to talk about: John Jones. We know he's the goat, light heavyweight goat. But
Bah,
but does this solidify GOAT status over everybody that has ever fought in MMA? Like
definitely has to.
he's that dude was created to fight, right? Like he was born to
Yeah,
fight. I,
for
I
sure.
would
I
say
mean,
so.
look at his brothers. They're two super athletes. Both guys have been in the NFL for years. They've had stints in the NFL, still active in the NFL. Yeah, this guy's just a super athlete in another sport. I mean, it was crazy. Him at 205, his body, his length, his elbows, all that. So yes, he's a super athlete. I think that there's no question that he is the GOAT. We talk about 15 title defenses, and we're going to get ready to see some more here at the heavyweight. And I don't think that it's going to be very. I don't think that we're going to see those tough fights. I mean, I know everybody was looking for him to take a step down because of the way we saw him against Dominic Reyes. The way that we saw him against Thiago Santos. So he had fights where he started looking human, but here at heavyweight, I mean, that was a mean guy. That was an aggressive guy.
It was good to see the go back, man. I think
For
that's
sure.
it for us, Ben. Anything else on UFC 285 that you want to recap?
Just
Maybe a
really
fight.
good. We didn't have any breaking news that John Jones got into any trouble, after the win.
Yeah,
I think it's
apparently
safe.
he went to Hakkasan, behaved well, signed autographs, took pictures, and made it home. Dana
There
said
we
they
go.
should have got this guy a airplane, a private plane, straight back to New Mexico and not
Yeah,
let him go. But
yeah,
hey, looks like
yeah.
John has turned the corner, and I'm glad to see it, man.
Yeah. Well, I got to see it a little bit more before we say he's turned the corner. But I mean, definitely on his ninth life, I would say. So good for him. to get a new championship and in no trouble.
All right. Well, that's it for us at the MMA Tap Hour here. Looking forward to the next one, guys. Peace.
Peace.